What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be continuing to show you how to make the prototype in Minecraft. This is part 3, and in this one, we're going to be getting the hands here in the kissy, mommy, and huggy ones, along with the rib cage, the like mangrove kind of bracing for the rib cage, and all these like muscles and wires on the sides, along with the gas canisters, actually. So yeah, a good amount of stuff there. And you can kind of see over there a sneak peek of how far we get if you can actually see it from here. But anyway, that is all. So with that being said, enjoy the tutorial. We're getting somewhere, and I will catch you on the flip side. Alrighty, so to start off, we're gonna do his crotch arms. I don't have anything better to call them, so we're gonna go with that. We're gonna get out. You need to get out the following to start here: polished deep slate, polished blackstone, polished blackstone walls. You need the following. You need 3 wool colors. You need pink, blue, and yellow. Actually, do you need gray or is that concrete? I was thinking it was concrete, but no, it is gray wool as well. And structure voids. I don't think we've used those yet, so I'll give you the thing for them in a moment. Actually, also get out pink concrete. Yeah. And for these structure voids, it is /give, that's not how you spell give, /give add structure _ void. You need to make sure you do have chat commands on for this. If you, for whatever reason, can't use them, just don't. It's my advice. It'll make it look a little bit weirder, but it's not a huge difference. So we're going to start by doing some more symmetry, because that's what this is. You want to come to the side of the cylinder that is currently his entire body. And on the sides of the flat portion here, you want to take the 3rd polished deep slate from the front, which is going to be this one. I am centered, and you should be centered. You'll place 2 going back, and do this on both sides. So it's a 2-block gap from the front, and it's a row of 2, also. Extend that down with 5 additional rows. And I think the front one, specifically, you're extending down again. Yeah, right? Yes. So the front would be down by 6, back would be down by 5. Hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am for the most part. If I have time later, I want to talk about something fun, if you want to consider it that. The bottom, well, just leave the top 2 rows alone and bring the 4 polished deep slate below that on both sides, left by 1, or out, I guess I should say. That bottom one on the front row you don't want to bring out, you want to leave that as is. You're kind of just making a square. Well, it's a rectangle, but what do I know anyway? From that point, you're going to take this bottom polished deep slate and extend it forward by 2. And that row of 2 can also be brought down, right? Yes, down. Sorry, this is really weird to look at, because I don't do these the way that I do them in the tutorial, so it makes, like, this kind of awkward. You'll also place a polished deep slate on top of the first row to kind of just give it a little bit of a better bend like that. The main 2x2 square at the bottom you will extend in, which is going to be just like the front row of 2 and then extend it back by 1. And that is again towards the body like this. So you will diagonally connect, that is what you want. In front of the inner half of that, you'll place 3 more polished deep slate from both rows, and they will extend in by 1 as well. And then you will take the top inner corner, which is actually this one on the particular side I'm looking at, and extend forward with 2 polished deep slate. That row of 2 can be brought up, and also both of those rows can be brought in. By the way, the bottom front corner here will be on a polished blackstone. I would make sure that you're kind of sitting on it like this. Although when we do the rib cage, you'll know if this is wrong or not. We're going to continue the shifting inwards. So this inner row here, you'll extend the front forward with 3 rows of deep slate. That'll again get brought in. Polished deep slate. I just can't be bothered to say that extra word. And then you will do that again. The inner row will be brought forward, but this time by 4. And then again, you'll go in from there. And I'll give you a second to catch up. Cool. Like the sauce. That was a terrible joke. On the left side, you want to place in front of this. Hold on. 6 rows of pink wool. And on the right, you will do that, but with blue wool. From the full 2x2. Like this. I forgot to get out the structure voids, by the way. I only didn't do the command because I knew I had them and I just forgot to grab them. The frontmost row of wool can extend up. And then the top 2 rows will be brought forward by 4. Now. Then that front row can be brought down by 1. And now the bottom 2x2 can be brought forward by 2 rows. Like this. Then you would take that front row and extend the bottom down again. And I would extend out of these 3 rows the middle row forward by 1 and the bottom row forward by 2. Because this is where the arm starts going down. You can change his poses, by the way. I just did the same for both because I was lazy. Not really any better reason than that. The front 2 rows of wool from this point will be brought down by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then from this bottom row, you'll extend forward by 1. Whoopsies. The front 2 rows from there can be brought down by 6. And then that bottom row can be brought back by 1. Then this backmost 2x2 can be brought down with 3 wool each. And this is the part where the inversion is important to be made aware of. It should be the back inner wool, this one, it'd be this pink and then the blue that is again closest to it. You'll place a gray wool under and then 2 yellow. Every other pink/blue wool will be brought down with 3 yellow. We had like a bunch of tornado watches and warnings and stuff today, so it's been a fun day for weather. The gray wool and the yellow, I guess, in front of it will be brought in with more yellow. We had like 1 point though where it was bad, but other than that, it's kind of been just average. It's definitely been a little windy, but I don't know, it was weird. In the direct center of this front polished blackstone ring, you don't have a direct center front to back, so I'm going to be on the more back of these 2 polished blackstone, and I'll extend up with 2 polished deepslate. You can see where that's positioned. You'll then extend up diagonally forward 2, and then forward 1. I'll then go forward with 3 pink concrete. Up diagonally forward and forward 2. Up diagonally forward and forward 4. Down diagonally forward and forward 3. Down diagonally forward and forward 2. Down diagonally forward and forward 2 again. Nice. Now from this point you can take the first row of each of the pink concrete and the either wool, and it just place polished blackstone kind of around it like this in a almost a square. I guess they aren't really squares because they're just not. Squares have corners, these don't. Like that. Then in front of each of the polished blackstone blocks, you will place polished blackstone walls. And here's where the structure voids come into play. They are sort of important. Off of the sides and tops of each wall, if you can place them on the top, you want to place structure voids, which will basically just be like around, will be around all of it except for the, like, underneath these, like that. You could technically do that, but it literally doesn't make a difference. So you really just need like this kind of shape. And this will just make it so everything connects a little bit better and is slightly more square. It's still not perfect per se, but you know, it is what it is. And we still gotta do the mommy hand. Boink, don't forget the 1 on the top, or the multiple on the top. Cool. You can clear your inventory. I would stash your structure voids somewhere safe, which would be in your actual inventory, and then you would clear your hotbar. I know it's not, this isn't your inventory, this is your hotbar, but whatever. Get out the following. Cyan concrete, pink terracotta, I'm trying to think if we can start that. We can try, yeah. Mangrove planks and slabs. Smooth quartz blocks. Smooth quartz stairs. And smooth quartz slabs. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be real fun. That's fine. Off of this frontmost pink concrete, you want to place cyan concrete on each side except for the front. In front of it, you will place 2 pink terracotta, each which will extend down by 1. The bottom row of pink can be brought forward an additional 1. And what you can also do from this top row of pink is extend this row of 2 both left and right an additional row. Those rows of 2 can be brought down as well. However, this time you will take the top pink rows on those sides and extend them forward each an additional 2. From those front ones, you'll go down diagonally forward, and then down 1. It's the middle of the hand. Off of the left side of this top row, for the middle 2 pink, can be brought left an additional 1. You'll then go down diagonally forward and left 1, so it's here, and then extend that down. On the right side, you want to do 2 things, actually. Of this row of 4, you'll take not the frontmost one, but 1 back and place a pink to the right. Extend it down diagonally forward 1, and then down. You will take this back right pink, and you actually want to take the bottom one and place a pink to the right. You'll then extend it down diagonally right and forward twice. So it'll look like this. I know that hand isn't perfect, but I actually just took it straight from my mommy statue, because I was struggling trying to make another one. And yeah, I know it's not perfect, but I did it once, so it's fine. It passed. And it's gonna just pretend like it passes here, even though it's not exactly the greatest you've ever seen. So over top of the mommy hand, you have this wall here at the top. You should have a structure void on top of it, actually. Place an upside down smooth quartz slab in front of that structure void. You kind of just have to know where it is. You can't highlight it. Basically, I would just look at the wall, then kind of look up a little bit. And if it places there, then you're correct. You will then extend that slab up with 5 blocks. And then a slab. From there, I will extend back with a block, actually. Technically, it should be an upside-down slab, but who's counting? I have it as a block, so we're going with that. And then you will extend that up with 4 more blocks and a slab. Then again, I'll go back with a block, up with 3 additional blocks, and then a slab. That's like the center part. You can extend that row both left and right an additional row. There's one particular part that's an exception to that, although we'll deal with that after we place it all. But just extend it all left and right an additional row for now. This is going to be really annoying because the rib cages don't actually all line up because of the fact that they're on an angle, so some of them end up being different. It's very annoying, but it is what it is. This middle section that you made, the bottom block, well, not the bottom block, but it'd be this is the bottom one here, it'd be 1 up on the sides, you'll break it like that. Cool. We can start from the bottom, and off of these sides of the, I'm going to take this bottom block here, I will extend up on either side on the outside with 2 blocks, then a slab. Then above that, an upside down stair facing out, and then a block above that. From this slab just below the stair, I'm going to go back diagonally, kind of out with a block like this. I'm going to go up diagonally out with a slab, and then extend that out an additional 1. And then I'll go down diagonally out with a block. Then back diagonally out by 1. Out with a slab. Then I'm going to go down with a block from this one. And from there, diagonally back and out with a slab. I guess it'd be back diagonally out, whatever, words are hard. And then extend that slab back diagonally out again, and then back one. Then back diagonally down with a block. Then I will extend that one down one again. Go back diagonally out with a block again, which should connect like diagonally to this polished black stone here. And then you will extend back with the smooth quartz, which still is diagonally connecting to that, I guess. Then back with 2 slabs. Then I will go back diagonally in with a slab. Back with a block. Back diagonally in with a block that also you can extend in by 1. I'll go back diagonally in with another block and place a slab on top of that one. Extend the slab in by 1. And then place a block inside of that. Now, here's the fun part. You want to keep this at all times a thickness of 2.5 blocks. So what that means is you have this block here, you'll extend down with a block and then an upside down slab. These slabs down with 2 blocks each. This block down with a block and then an upside down slab. Keep in mind where you have it already thicker, so like this is a slab and a block, so I'll just need to add 1 more block. You basically just want to keep in mind how thick you already have something, because you may only need to add an upside down slab or something. But just kind of, you can check what the top is, and I see that these are blocks here, so the bottom will be upside down slabs. Next part, the top is slabs, so the bottom will be blocks. And you get the point. Just, again, making sure that the total thickness is 2.5 blocks on each part. Boink. It's a little weird, but just kind of take your time with it and make sure you get it right. Although, with starting from the top and working down for this one, it won't matter as much. Technically, if you have it a little off, I mean, it'll still be noticeable. But, like, okay, that's 2 blocks, so I just need an upside down slab. I try to make it as, like, even as possible to where you didn't have to deal with figuring it out as much, but kind of hard to do that with the way the diagonals are. But yeah, you can see that gives you a very nice arch for the ribs. Nice. Unfortunately, that's where the easy stops. Sorry. For the next section up, the middle one, you're going to take these bottom blocks and extend out with an additional block, and then up with a slab, like this. You want to extend from this block back diagonally out with an upside down slab. Then up with a block that gets brought out by 3. And then I'll go down with an upside down slab again. So it'll give you these kind of almost telephone shapes, I guess. The middle 2 blocks can be each brought up with just a slab. And then from this point, I'm going to bring both the block and the slab here on the end back diagonally out by 1 of the same row. Nice. That is where the rib would stop being weird. So basically, I'm going to place a slab outside of that block and then extend it down with 2 blocks. So we can just focus on fixing up the middle or making it actually even. Basically, from this bottom block on the side, you want to place a slab with an upside down slab below it. The slab itself will be brought out with 2 blocks and then another slab. Upside down slab below that slab. And both that slab and upside down slab at the end there can be brought back diagonally out by 1. And it should kind of give you this. It looks weird with only the 1, but as we get more in that are slanted like that, oddly, specifically the next one, I think the top one's actually normal, it'll make a little bit more sense. But anyway, we're kind of doing a similar thing we did. Of this end row, I'm going to take not the slab, but the block below it and extend back diagonally out with a block on both sides still. Back with a slab. And then you can place a block below it and go down, or back diagonally out with a block from there. Or you could alternatively just get the same diagonal position. I guess remove this block too, if it makes it easier for you, just to do it that way. Then from that block, I'll go down diagonally back one. Then back diagonally out one. This is so strange. And then back with 2 slabs. Then back diagonally in with a slab, and I think the end is the same as below you, right? Yes. So you can just look down and see, okay, block there. Then I'll go back diagonally in with a block and in one. And then I'll go up diagonally, or I guess I'll go back diagonally in with a block and place a slab on it. Bring that slab in by 1. And you can place the block here. I'm not going to, and you'll see why later. Because this ends up being a full row, basically. But, yeah, and again, starting from the point that we already did 2.5, just going back, you'll make sure each of these are 2.5. So where there's a block at the top, you should have an upside-down slab. A block below it. I guess each row actually will have 2 full blocks and a slab. That's how they're made up. So if you start with a block, you'd add an additional block and then an upside-down slab, and hopefully that clears it up a little bit. I feel like the way I'm explaining this is weird, but hopefully it makes sense enough. You can just count the blocks and do math or something. Not math. Anyway, that is rib number 2 of 4, I think we have. Because there's 2 slanted and 2 not. So. Still on this middle section, I'm going to take this bottom, or this block here where you would have the gap below it. Extend that particular block out with an upside down stair facing out. And then place 2 blocks above it. Behind, well, I guess not behind that block, up diagonally back from it, alternatively off the bottom row of the top section, I'll place a slab. Then from, I guess from that slab, you can go down diagonally out with a block. We're going to start with the bottom portion of this, only because I accidentally did that. Extend that block out by 3. And similar thing, you're placing an upside down slab below the end ones and regular slabs on top of the middle 2. The block in the slab at the left, or I guess the outside here, you'll extend back diagonally out with the same row of the block and upside down slab. Then extend the block out with a slab, and extend that slab down with a block. For the top, I'm going to take, I guess, this first block of the kind of section we're making here, so this one right here, and extend up diagonally back with a block, which should be right there. It should be a block away from the actual, like, middle kind of spine here. I guess it's not the spine. The spine's on the back, not the front, but I don't know. I'm not a bone doctor. Extend 2 upside down slabs, and then another block off of the block you've placed going outwards. Those 2 upside down slabs can each be brought up with a regular slab. This end block can be brought back diagonally out with a block, which is then extended out with a slab, and that slab is brought down with an upside down slab. And that should connect pretty nicely to the end there. Cool. From this bottom block and slab here, I'm going to take this particular slab and extend back diagonally out with a slab that can be brought down with 2 blocks. Just so, again, we have the marker as to where the area we aren't tampering with starts and ends, or whatever. I will extend that top slab back by 1, though. And then I'll go down with a block, and then down diagonally out with a block from there as well. And I do believe we are already in the same territory, yes. So you can just look down and see, okay, so that's down diagonally with a block, and then down diagonally out, back with 2 slabs. And again, you're just copying. If you're ever confused on what is below you, just like go down and highlight it, and you can see, you know, slab versus block. And that's really the main thing you should just be checking. Is, yeah. Wow, this is real boring, though, I can't even lie. And I kind of know how it is at this point, because, you know, I've built this, my second time building this guy, and we're on rib number 3, so... Yeah. Right, blocks there? Yes. And then slabs there, and you'll do the same thing where you bring them down to have the 2.5 block thickness. The one thing you should also keep in mind is the thickness between them is 1.5 blocks. Pretty much at all times. I think there are some points, especially where, like, the curves and stuff are, that it gets a little bit weird, like here. That's mainly just because of the angle, though. It doesn't really have anything to do with the ribs themselves. But, yeah. And then I should do the other side, probably. Would be smart. And then I'll give you the start of the top rib, but this one will be the same as the first one, so... Cool, although I guess we have to deal with the spine first. So you want to take it'd be this row of blocks here, really the first one you can actually place anything off of literally any side of. You want to place upside down stairs facing out. I'll go up from either of them with just 3 blocks, and they should stick half a block taller than the center, which is cool. I forgot to add the zigzag. I was going to add like a line for the zigzag, but I just completely forgot it. Oh well. You want to take this top block and extend back diagonally out with a block. Then back diagonally, or up diagonally out with a slab, sorry. Out one. Then down diagonally out with a block again. Then from there you'll go back diagonally out with a block for real this time. Out with a slab. And then I will extend that slab down with a block. And extend that block back diagonally out with a slab. Then, again, it should be the same. So you can just look over and say, see, okay, block here. Then it'd be down diagonally back with a block. And then diagonally out, 2 slabs. And yeah, you can, if you so choose, or find this easier, bring this down to make it the 2.5 thickness as you go. And I only suggest this because you can look at the gap between and make sure that it doesn't change like abruptly. Like you see here, it's kind of good. You'll have an area right here, I think, where it gets a little bit weird. Just because of the angling back of the rib makes the angle on the sides a little different. But just kind of making sure that once you're here, like the front and this point are the same. So you see that's, if I place a block in here, yep, block and a half. And I guess I'll use a different block here, block and a half as well. Just making sure that you keep that block and a half gap is the main thing that you want to be sure you're doing. Beyond that, it honestly doesn't matter a ton. Just make sure your shape is the same, you know what I mean? But, yeah. One thing that is nice about this guy is, aside from, like, obviously some areas, a lot of the things are independent. So if you do one thing and make a small mistake, it won't, like, do a ripple effect where it just destroys everything else. Sometimes that ends up being an issue, but this guy is not one of those cases. Is it raining again, by the way? I should check. Anyway, you should end up with this. And if you look at it from the front, you can see it looks like a ribcage, I think. No, it's not raining. I'm just schizophrenic. That's good. I'm not actually, but, you know. So, that row of blocks in the very center we built on, specifically the bottom rib that I told you, maybe you shouldn't touch. Yeah, this is the point where we touch it now. You want to extend it all the way up with smooth quartz until it is a half a block taller than this back rib here, and it should just be a block sitting there. Although this part will actually matter, I'm just now realizing. You want it to be in line with this outer row of 2 on the top of the kind of cylinder. That'll be important because it'll line up with something else, actually. But not by much, so. You can get out polished blackstone blocks and walls. And I wish it grabbed the walls. That would have been really cool. You can take the topmost smooth quartz here and extend, actually the one below it, you'll extend forward diagonally in with a smooth quartz. Extend it in by one, and you actually can extend that original one just back, so you should have probably gone in, forward, in, but hindsight doesn't exist because I don't have any. You'll extend each of those smooth quartz down by 2, though. And then you will extend... You can do basically the same thing from the bottom, although the only thing is you're taking the upside down slab, extending in with a block, forward, in, and then you're extending each of those smooth quartz up by 2 instead. The front corner you want to leave alone, but the ones against the back, like the polished deep slate, and the ones also closest to the middle, you'll connect together with polished blackstone, which will basically be these 2 rows on either side. Cool. Those corners you'll connect together with walls. I'll place polished blackstone on the inside of specifically where the polished blackstone is. You want to leave the smooth quartz open. And then 1 row down from the top, I will connect the next 3 rows of polished blackstone together against that deep slate on the back. And it should give you an H, basically. Not really the intention, but it gives you an H. I can't deny that fact. Cool. The next thing we can do, I feel like it's gonna make more sense if we just, like, ignore the mangrove. So, yeah, you can get rid of everything but your mangrove planks, actually, because we do need those. I realized we didn't use the slabs, my bad. And get out netherwort blocks. Bone blocks. Gray concrete, we might as well get these out of the way. Block of redstone. Red stained glass. Basalt. And stone brick walls. Sure, that works, right? Anything else that makes sense? I do not believe so, no. So I do apologize because I realize you're probably getting sick of this, but we are doing both sides at the same time again. I hope you can understand why for the purposes of the length of this thing at this point. But again, if you're sick of it, you can just watch it twice and do each side individually. But from the top rib set, you want to take, it should be, I think it's this row right here, actually, yeah. It's the first point where it goes down by more than half a block. It'd be this slab at the top, you'll extend back with a bone block. You'll then extend diagonally out with a netherwort that is extended down by 1. Either of those 2 netherworts can extend back by 1 each, and then back diagonally out by 1. The bottom netherwort can extend back by 2 and then down 1. And it is kind of wrapping around the ribs a little bit. It's, I guess, depending on how you would define that. You'll extend that row of 2 back diagonally out again. And then you would place a row of 2 behind that is shifted 1 higher. So I guess you'd bring the top netherwort back 1 and then go up 1 from there. And then from that top one back with a bone block. Cool. Whole lot of that is what we're doing now. The next rib down, it's going to be behind this row of 2 slabs going... It's going to be going front to back. You'll place a bone block behind and then a netherwort that is actually extended down diagonally out 1, like that. And so again, if I go to the... I should probably not be going inside, I should just go around. Bone block, netherwort behind it, 1... diagonally out and down. I will place that same row of 2 netherworts that is 1 back and also shifted 1 out. So alternatively, you place 1 on top of this smooth quartz and then you'd have to go diagonally in from there. I'll just place it from the inside because I find that easier. But it should look like this from the inside. This bottom outmost netherwort you will extend back. And then you go out 1 or just... No, you just go back diagonally out by 1 from there. So it might be better to be from the outside again. You'll then go down 1. And you will place that same row of 2 back diagonally out by 1 and also shifted down like that. So I guess, again, if you took the bottom one, you'd go back diagonally out and then extend it down. That row of 2 nether wart can be brought back by 1. And then from the top one, I'll go back diagonally out with a bone block. And I like it facing forward and backward, but it's up to you. From that point, you'll actually go back diagonally down with another bone block. Make sure you're on this lower one. Extend it back with 6 nether warts. Whoopsies. The N2 can be brought down an additional 1. And then that bottom row can be brought forward with 4 more nether warts and then a bone block. So we're just going to keep carrying these through. That's why I waited to do these ones, actually. You'll then from there go down diagonally back with a bone block. And I think this is the last string on this row. That's a weird way to put it, string. You'll extend from that point back with 7 nether warts. And you're doing almost the exact same thing, actually, as the previous one. N2 nether warts are brought down, and then you are doing the same. You're extending back an additional 4 from there, and then placing a bone block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. Cool. That is a total of 6, because 2 plus 4. Hopefully that made sense. You do want another one, actually, between the 2 we've done, so... Because we didn't go back on the top one, I guess it's just lower for some reason. From the bone block from the first muscle we placed on the front of this row, you're going to kind of count up 2 and back 1. And I'll place a bone block here that is, I guess, facing back, although it doesn't have to. So 2 up, 1 back. I will then go back with... I can just actually give you the full thing. It's going back with 6 nether warts. And then it is down 1, back 4, and then a bone block. And that's that one. So again, 6 nether warts, down 1, back 4, bone block. And then it's down diagonally back with a bone block again. These are so annoying. And then it is back with, this time, 7 nether warts, down 1, and then back by 5 this time. And then a bone block, of course. So 7 nether warts back, down 1, back 5, and then a bone block. And you can kind of see that just makes it look a little bit more coherent with those. Although there are still more. I just kind of wanted to show you that. I think there's 1 more row. Maybe 2. I'm not entirely sure. This next one is placed very oddly, though. So come inside, and it's going to be off of the third, I guess the second from the bottom set of ribs. You're going to be... Is it the same position? No, I think it's here. Where am I looking? Oh, I see. It's actually, like, the same as the previous one. Although you're starting behind... You're almost starting... No, you are starting directly below it. The only difference is the previous one was behind 2 slabs. This one is just behind 1 singular slab. You will start the same with a bone block and then a nether wart. And you'll have the same kind of diagonal going. The diagonal out, and then another row like this. That is another diagonal row shifted back and out one. Although this one is a little bit more squished from this point. You're from this bottom outmost nether wart, you're just going back diagonally out again. Then you're going down 1. And then back diagonally out and down again. And then I'm going to only place a bone block behind the top one for some reason. So, back 1, down 1. Nope, wait, I need to go the diagonal out first, right? Yes, it was diagonally out. My bad. So it looks like this, basically. From that end bone block, you know the deal. Another one is down diagonal, or back diagonally down, whatever you want to call it. These ribs are annoying me, because I have to fly through them every time. It's either through them or around them, and neither is really pleasant. You're going to, from that bone block, extend back with 5 nether warts, each of which being brought up an additional 1. I guess I could go over or under. That might be better. I don't know. You want to extend the If you head to the outside, the, like, bottom back nether wart, you'll extend out one and then down one like that. And I'll show you again on this side. Out one, down one. Then back from there with 5 rows of nether wart. Actually, 5 where you can, right? I break this polished blackstone that's in the way. I kid you not, it's gone. So 5 nether wart back from either, and then bone block behind the top one. What did that polished blackstone do to deserve such a fate? I don't know. But 1, 2, 3, 4, break for the 5th, and then 5, and then bone block behind the one that you technically can, reasonably. From that bone block, you're counting down 2 and back 1 and placing a bone block here. I guess I'll fly under. Yeah, no, that does, I suppose, work. And then from there, you're going to extend back from this bone block with, hold on, 11 nether warts. Although this one is kind of weird, so bear with me. Especially since I decided to do it this way. The frontmost 6 nether warts can be brought up by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Including that 6th one, the rest of them are getting brought down. So this one is getting brought down here, so you have a row of 3, and then you'll actually just bring this row of nether warts back until it's 1 further on the back, and then you would place a bone block. So under here, all the way until it's 1 further back, and bone block is the last thing you can place. Final row, I think, or something. Yes, thankfully. Starting back from the ribcage, this one should be easier, I think, because it's only the one on the ribcage, and then it's a wire rather than a muscle. Which, not that it's really different, but you get the point. The row of 2 slabs here, which is pretty much still directly below. Actually, are you still directly below? No, you're shifted forward, apparently. Under the, or inside of this back slab, you'll place a bone block, and I have it facing backwards. Up diagonally back, you'll place a nether wart. And then from there, you'll go down diagonally out by 1. And you can head back out of the ribcage now. So it's sitting right there. From that point, you'll go back diagonally out by 2 with nether wart. And this is another weird part. The first diagonal you'll bring up, the second you'll bring down. Then that bottom nether wart can be brought back by 1 and then back with a bone block. Going under again. So back with a nether wart there and then a bone block. Sick. From that bone block, I will count back 2 and down 1, which should be this final polished blackstone, and you'll place a mangrove plank off of it. I gotta find just any way to find my way through, I suppose. You'll then extend it back by 3 and down 1. And then you will go back by 8 and down 1. Which, this will just go all the way through. It connects. These connect nicely. And then you will go back 6 and down 1. Where is it? There you are. And then you should just connect back with what should be 7 mangrove. The 7th you have to break a polished blackstone for, apparently. Can you see that? You shouldn't be able to see that. If you have it, just make sure you're 1 short of this bone block here on the inside. If you end up having a situation to where you can see it from the outside, just kind of place a polished blackstone under it. No one will know. Just surround it, basically. But what was it, 7? Yes, 7, and then again, I'll check this one and polish blackstone underneath. Cool. That is probably one of the worst parts of the statue done, because we don't have, except for the arms, we don't have any more, like, muscles or things. Right? Yeah. The arms have kind of a weird one, though. They aren't exactly as difficult. Anyway, we can do the gas canisters on his side now. So if you take the... Is it the backmost two rings or the frontmost two? It is the backmost two. I'm going to take this middle one here for now, and I'll take the outermost row of it. And I want to place off of the top row of 4 a gray concrete to the outside of the second one here. I'm only going to do this on the left for now. It's the second one back. And for the backmost ring, it's actually not connected to it. That's cool. You can leave a gap of 8 going back. So I'll just place 8 redstone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. And then I'll place another gray. Just like that. They should be in line in height as well. And from that point, I will look at them this way as I do the directions. Again, you should try to be on the left side as you do this. Although if you're on the right, just keep in mind they may have to be inverted direction-wise. You want to take either of these grays and extend down diagonally right 1 and then down by 1 from there. Down diagonally right 1 again, and that time down with a basalt. Down diagonally right with a gray again, and down 1 again. Down diagonally left 1. Then up 1. Up diagonally left 1 and up with a basalt. So those 2 basalts should be in line, and they're both upward facing. And you'll kind of just continue this. You'll go up diagonally left with a gray and up. And then it should just be up diagonally left with a gray once more. And I'll fill in the little holes I got here. Nice. In front of the bottom gray, I'll place 3 more gray. And I will pretty much copy what I'm seeing on the back row on this front one. So I'll place a row of 2, and I'll just stop at the basalt for now. Like this. I will then make the next 2 rows that I'm copying fully red glass. So it's this row of 3, and then the left 2 are brought up. And the next row is a red glass in the middle with gray concrete either side. And then another gray on top of that red glass will finish mimicking the shape, basically. And I will instruct this for the other side as well, by the way. I know that's something I just didn't mention. You want to fill in the right bottom row here, so you have the full bottom filled in. It's 2 rows of 4 like this. And either of those rows of 4 will be extended out with gray like those, like this, the middle 2. So that should give you a base. You basically want to fill up these sides, making sure you stay 1 block out from the middle row for the entire time, like this. There is one thing, however, actually I'll just fill it in for now. And when you hit the top, you'll do the same, kind of to wrap around it like this. And we'll have to get inside of it at some point, so just consider that. But we also have to break something else, so we can do it when we get there. But yeah, it should kind of give you this. Not too bad. Definitely a little weird. Making canisters on a diagonal angle is weird. Making canisters in general is weird enough. And then again, give me that 30-degree angle and I'm dying. Cool. To the right of the basalt, which is more towards the front of the prototype, a row up, you're breaking the gray concrete and replacing it with basalt like this. A row back, you're doing it 1 down. Now, when you do this, actually don't fill it yet, just break it. Because you might want to reach inside, or if you have an elytra on, you can use the elytra to get in, or just break in. But behind each red stained glass, you're placing a block of redstone. And then you can just fill in the basalt. So it'll look like this. Bonus points if you have vibrant visuals on, because this makes it glow, which is pretty cool. Although, obviously, it's not a requirement. Although, I use redstone a lot in situations like that. Blocks of redstone, I mean, to get that cool glow. On this top row of gray, you'll place stone brick walls and extend it both forward and backward an additional row. Or right and left, my bad, since we're going that way instead. But it should look like this. Not great, but I mean, they get the job done, I suppose. Other side, you're doing the same thing, and they are still tilting backwards, so we're kind of inverting what we're doing. But head to the other side, and again, I'm going to look towards it like this. That looks so weird with the rib cage like that. And take this middle row of the ring, and I'm going to take this top row of 4, and the leftmost one out of the middle 2 I'll place a gray off of. Same thing, gap of 6 going back, and then another one. Oopsies, I didn't want to break that, but okay. If you remember what we just did, go for it. If not, I will give it again. You'll go down diagonally left and down one. I think I'm going the other way here, but it's fine. Down diagonally left and then down with a basalt. Down diagonally left and down again. Then down diagonally right one. Wish I was knowing which direction I was in. And then up by 1. Up diagonally right with a gray and then up with a basalt again. Then you'll go up diagonally right and up, and then up diagonally right again. And I'll fill in these funny little diagonal, or these little holes. So it should give you this again. Bottom gray you'll extend towards you by 3, and you will copy the back shape here up to the basalt. The next 2 rows you're copying, instead of using gray concrete, you're using red glass. And then for this next row, the middle will be glass with gray on either side. And then the far top is just gray. And the red glass ends up making a triangle. Not my intention, but it does, so. I'm going to place the blocks of redstone behind the glass right now, because I feel like that makes more sense. And I forgot the gray on top of that glass. That's cool. And again, if I take the bottom... I'll actually take the bottom left row this time and connect the gray together. Either of those rows of 4, the middle 2 gray can be brought out by 1. And then you'll just follow the shape with the gray, ensuring that you stay a block out from all times from the kind of 2 halves that we've made. Which should give you that for one of them. And if you know which side the basalt goes on off the top of your head, cool. I don't, so I'm gonna wait. Otherwise I would have said it, to be real with you. Nice. The basalt is a row down on the right and a row up on the left. Thanks, Minecraft ambiance, that's really cool. Incredible. Stone brick walls on the top row of gray that extends left and right an additional row. And those are your gas canisters done. And that pretty much means, like, that's a lot of the bottom done. I want to get the mangrove in, though. This part is going to be annoying because it's weird. But once we get that in, we can start working up on the body more. And actually, we might be able to just do the catnap pelt. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Although catnap pelt won't be this part regardless. For this next step, you might just need mangrove planks. Yeah, just start with mangrove planks. I thought we needed slabs, but apparently we don't, because I don't see any. So, where shall we start? Let's start at the top. And if you take the topmost rib, and it's kind of this part where they arch up at first, just outside of these 2 slabs, this smooth quartz block right here, you're placing a mangrove plank in front of on both sides. And as we do this, these will eventually join, so hopefully that's the plan. Well, actually, no, they won't, but they'll get close enough. Well, I guess they join at the back, whatever. Extend either of those planks up by 4. I only went 3 there, evidently. That's good. Extend that full row of mangrove out an additional 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. And then you'll go back diagonally out a full row. The resemblance is starting to happen, guys. No way. The bottom 3 planks from that end row you just placed will be brought out an additional 1. And then I'll go down by 1 from that row of 3 to make it a row of 4. This isn't consistent. It's not supposed to be. The bottom 3 planks of that row of 4 can just each be brought back diagonally out 1. And then I'll place another row of 3 outside of that that's shifted down by 1. So the bottom 2 planks are getting brought out, and then 1 more down from there. Same thing back diagonally out from that. You'll have the bottom 2 getting brought, as I just said, back diagonally out, and then 1 more down from there. So we're just slowly going down. Slowly working our way. The middle plank of that row of 3 can be brought back by 6. And the back 2 planks can each be brought up an additional 1. I'll then extend back by 1 from there. And I'm going to go down diagonally back and back an additional 2. And that full row of 3 should be sitting on polished blackstone like so. The back 2 planks can also be brought up. From the backmost plank of that row of 2, this one here, you'll extend up diagonally in by 2. Either of those planks can be brought forward by 4, I guess each of them, since there's 4 in total, since we are doing both sides. You can actually get out item frames, sorry, and this first diagonal you placed, you will extend back, up, and then out. So again, back, up, out, and it's sticking out like this, kind of. That end plank can be brought forward by 2, and then will be an item frame placed on the front. Not an item frame in an item frame, just an item frame. Not the backmost plank of this top row, but one inside. You want to go up diagonally in with a mangrove plank that extends in by 2. I'm going to place, from the block in front of that, this next row, I'll go in with a plank and then up diagonally in 1. That'll kind of just block off something. You'll see later. From this back row of 3, though, you'll go up diagonally in and in again. And then up diagonally in with a plank. Up 2. Up diagonally out. Up by 6. And out of that full row, you will take, excluding the topmost one, the upper 4 from there will be brought forward diagonally out on either side. I said excluding, good lord. Like this. I'll then take the other part of, like, this top block here, the most top for real this time, and extend in with 2 planks. Back diagonally in by 1. And this should connect together by placing 7 planks. And if you have in total here with this back row a row of 9, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, that means you are correct with everything so far. Good. That is splendid. The middle row of 9 can be brought down an additional 3 rows. I'm going to invert this the way that I would generally, but that's fine. And then the outermost plank on either side can be brought down by 2. That actually might not be a good... you can't see it anyway, it's fine. The 6, right? 3, 4, 5... Okay, well, that's good. You can extend Oh, I see why. Okay, no, that makes more sense. You can take the row of 3 down here and extend the bottom 2 back an additional 1, and I'll place 1 plank down from there as well. Like that. I will then, from the top of that row of 3, extend up diagonally in 1 and up. Up diagonally in 1 again, and that should connect into that mangrove there. From those bottom ones, you'll also extend back 1. Up diagonally in 1 and connect together. We'll kind of deal with this more later, but I would recommend filling... If you head back to the front side of this, I would recommend just taking this row of mangrove here and extending it in an additional 2 rows like this. 1, 2... And then from that point, yeah, you can just place an additional row of mangrove on there. And that might mean that we're 1 shorter, but I'm not really sure. I will fill in line with this backmost row of mangrove all the way down until I am sitting directly on the polished blackstone here, like so. And just to kind of smooth this out, I'll take these planks and extend them down by 3, which actually squares it off more than it smooths it out, but that's besides the point. You can see what that gives you. And yeah. Oh yeah, because you can place an additional row of mangrove here, my bad, on the inside from the top. So you have 4 rows of thickness rather than 3, and you can actually remove this row we placed on the back. Sorry, that was what it was. I knew there was something a little bit off that I did, and it was just that. Could have been worse, I guess. Anyway, let's finish the mangrove stuff, shall we? Heading back to the sides, I want to take this... I definitely got sidetracked there. I want to take this row of 3 mangrove at the back and extend it back diagonally out with a little row of 3. This row of 3 can be brought all the way forward until it diagonally connects to the bottom block of this other row of 3 mangrove that is going up and down that we placed earlier that kind of started that mayhem. Extend the full row down an additional row. And then if I just take the backmost row, I will place an additional row under this that is 3 shorter from the back. Like this. So it gives you a total row of 7 if you're counting. So 7 goes to there. And then from there, you will place 2 additional rows below that each get 2 shorter from the back than the previous. So it would be a row of 5 and then a row of 3. You'll then place 2 more rows under that each get 1 shorter than the back. So it's a row of 2, and then you would end with a row of 1. Like that. The bottom mangrove plank here, this singular guy, you will extend forward diagonally in by 1. That plank can be brought both up and down an additional 1 each. The bottom plank can extend forward diagonally in again. And then you'll go down by 2. Those bottom 2 planks you just placed can each be brought in by 1. And from there you'll extend an additional 2 down. From the bottom 3 planks of that row of 4, you'll extend forward diagonally in by 1. Just kind of ignore the top, basically. And you will diagonally connect to the rib cage. That is fine. Yeah, because then you'll actually take that row of 3 and extend an additional row inside of it that is 1 shorter. So it directly connects to the rib cage now. That was why I was like, wait a minute. And then the bottom 2 planks from that row will each be brought forward diagonally in by 1. And you'll still be kind of clinging to the ribcage. But that should give you this. And wow, that made a lot of a difference, to be honest with you. One quick thing we can do. Get out oak planks. And this isn't even going to be noticeable. However, I just wanted to add it because you can kind of, if you look in here, you can see a little bit of the beginning. Where we have these funny little smooth quartz kind of hinges on the ribcage, I'm going to place, just inside of this smooth quartz, on this row of 2, 3 oak planks on either block, like this. I will then extend that row of 3 basically all the way back until I hit something. And in the case, it's going to be this backmost circle. Or, yeah, whatever. What even are they? Like, what are they supposed to be? Metal rings? I guess just to form the body of whatever this was supposed to be before the prototype used it for his personal plastic surgery or whatever. It should give you this, though. Just 2 random rows of oak. I'm going to be so real with you, I don't even think I evenly spaced this next part. However, I'm going to take the 4th row of polished deepside back from the front and just kind of connect these oak planks across together like so. And I'll place maybe 1 like under the, which row of this is? Out of the middle 2 would be the backmost row of the kind of middle circle. Like this. And then I will do 1 more just kind of before the oak starts getting cut off. So 1 row prior to the top row getting lost. Like here. Doesn't matter if they're specific, because again, there is almost 0 way you're seeing these. I just added them for fun. And we can kind of start preparing for next part with this next step by taking the oak at the front here and extending the full row of 3 forward, an additional 1 on these sides, while adding 1 on top to make it a row of 4. Then you'll take the top 3 oak each and extend forward an additional 2 per row. And then the top row will extend forward an additional 1. And then those front 3 oak can each be extended up by maybe just 5 for now. So 5 there, and then these 2 rows behind it. So again, the front 3. That'll really just help us to kind of figure out where that his kind of, I don't even know what it is. It's like his kind of bracket or whatever starts. If you take the inside of this, you want to take the middle of this kind of, it's almost like a square of oak here in the middle of this angle, or I guess curve. You're going to take this oak and connect across the front. Going back diagonally up from that, I'll have 2 more rows. There's another thing that I just didn't connect. That's cool. There's a couple things in this build that are just, like, not connected because I completely forgot to check them while I was doing other things. But anyway, is that where I want to end? Yeah, I think so. So once you're done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is part 3 of the prototype statue complete. We're starting to get to the good stuff, guys. Although, unfortunately, next part won't be that. We're going to probably start by building up a little bit of the front here, and then we'll be dealing with the catnap fur. So, yeah, consider that fun if you want. I'm not, though. Probably, my bet is that this is going to be a structure block instance, to where I do one side and then structure block it. However, I will be, again, it's the whole thing of, like, if you don't like that, you can just watch the part twice, because I'll be obscure enough with the lefts and rights, so you don't have to think too hard about it. And I'll also show you how to structure block it and what would go through doing that. But, yeah, anyway, thing else, rewards if you guys did enjoy this video. It's starting to get interesting here. Have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.